Bullies mocked the plus-size girl at prom, calling her the fat one nobody wants. She stood there trembling, prom lights flashing, phones pointed at her. He laughed in her face. They whispered behind her. They pushed her aside. She couldn't speak. He didn't listen. No one cared. But 15 years later, matte black Bugatti La Voiture Noire, the most expensive car in the world, rolled in. Every bully froze where they stood. What happened next changed everything. Before we go any further, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support means everything to us, and it helps us bring you even more intriguing stories. Now, let's begin. Thunder rolled across the city skyline the night Simone Hayes finally opened the reunion invitation. Her finger hovered over the screen, breath tight. One line sat at the top of the leaked group chat. She'll probably squeeze into the same prom dress. The words hit with an old sting, sharp but familiar. Back at Westbridge High, those same people never tired of tearing her apart. Hallways held their whispers. Locker doors slammed just loud enough to make others turn and stare. Kennedy Matthews led everything. Hair is always perfect, voice is always loud enough to carry. She rated girls' bodies like a competitive sport and crowned Simone with her favorite label: the fat friend, the charity case, the one who doesn't belong. Simone remembered walking through that polished hallway, pretending she didn't hear them. Her hands always gripped her books tight against her stomach, trying to make herself smaller. She would blink fast, refusing tears. Sometimes she hid in the art room during lunch just to breathe without judgment. Prom night had been the worst humiliation. She'd saved for months to buy a dress from the plus-size section 3 towns over. The fabric felt soft against her skin. She'd done her own makeup, watched tutorials until her eyes burned. When she walked into the decorated gym, the music seemed to pause. Kennedy's circle turned in unison, phones already lifted. Tyler Morrison, the quarterback everyone adored, approached her near the punch table. For one breathless second, Simone thought maybe, just maybe, the night would be different. Then Kennedy appeared beside him, smile razor sharp. "Go on, Tyler. Ask her to dance. I dare you." The gym went quiet enough to hear the basketball net swaying. Tyler looked at Simone, then back at Kennedy. He laughed, a short, cruel bark that echoed off the rafters. "I don't think so." His friends erupted in laughter. Someone snapped a photo. Simone felt her chest tighten, vision blurring at the edges. She left through the side exit, heels clicking too fast on the concrete. No one followed. No one ever did. She told herself that night that she would become someone those people could never touch. Someone who would prove that beauty had nothing to do with their narrow, cruel definitions. 15 years later, the reunion invitation arrived wrapped in digital nostalgia. Celebrate the glow-ups and memories. The attached group chat screenshots followed within hours, sent by someone anonymous who added a simple note. "Thought you should see this." Kennedy's message sat at the top. 50,000 says she still shops at Lane Bryant. Someone else replied. "Does she even fit in airline seats?" The laughter emojis piled up like digital stones. Simone read every word, heart steady. She didn't feel anger anymore, only clarity. She had grown into her body, into her voice, into her empire. Everybody Couture had revolutionized fashion for every size, every shape, every person told they weren't enough. Meanwhile, Kennedy's life was crumbling. The gossip sites mentioned debt, a failed marriage, desperation masked by Instagram filters. Yet Kennedy still found time to mock the girl she tried to destroy. Simone walked to her penthouse window. City lights glittered like scattered diamonds far below. Her reflection stared back, strong, certain. She typed one simple reply. "I'll be there." The reunion date circled the calendar like a quiet promise. Simone spent the next 2 weeks preparing. Nothing loud, no spectacle, just truth. She reviewed her schedule, approved final designs for the fall collection, and confirmed logistics with her executive team. Everybody Couture had grown beyond anyone's projections. She kept a low profile, minimal social media, no bragging, no noise. Her success lived in the lives she changed, not the spotlight she avoided. but Westbridge would feel her presence long before she arrived. Months earlier, Simone had approved an anonymous donation to fund scholarships for students facing body image struggles and financial hardship. The school used that same fund to plan the reunion at the city's most exclusive rooftop venue. They never knew the donor was the girl Kennedy once tormented in the hallway. The irony tasted bittersweet. Emails from the reunion committee gushed about the incredible venue and open bar. Meanwhile, Kennedy's private texts painted a different picture. She's probably still single. Imagine showing up alone to this. The photos will be priceless. The cruelty hadn't aged. It had just moved behind screens. As the reunion approached, whispers traveled through old social circles. Some former classmates felt uneasy about Kennedy's obsession. A few remembered how Simone used to sit alone at lunch, pushing food around her tray without eating, eyes fixed on the table. One woman, Jessica Torres, wrote privately, "I hope she's doing okay. I should have been kinder." Guilt crawled through old friendships like ivy through cracks. Reunion evening arrived warm and heavy, the kind of humidity that clings to skin. Simone stood on her penthouse balcony early that morning, letting the breeze brush her face. The scent of blooming jasmine drifted from the garden below. Traffic hummed its familiar song. She exhaled slowly. Life felt galaxies away from Westbridge's polished cruelty. Her driver texted confirmation. "The Bugatti is ready. Entrance route cleared. Waiting on your signal." He asked if she needed anything special for the arrival. She replied simply, "No, just the usual." The Bugatti wasn't revenge. It was her life now, a life she built with a determination none of them ever imagined she possessed. As she dressed for the evening, she chose her own creation. A floor-length gown in deep emerald, tailored perfectly to her curves. The fabric moved like water, catching light with every breath. She'd designed it herself, part of the signature collection that made her a household name. Her hair fell in soft waves over her shoulders. She added simple diamond earrings, then paused, catching sight of herself in the mirror. The girl from prom night flickered in her memory. Scared, alone, convinced she was too much and not enough all at once. That girl was still there, but she'd grown into someone stronger. The hurt had transformed into purpose. Across the city, Kennedy barked orders at the venue coordinator, her voice sharp with anxiety. Her ex-husband's alimony demands were crushing her. Her influencer career had flatlined. Yet she plastered on a smile, checking her reflection obsessively. She kept glancing toward the elevator, expecting Simone to arrive early wearing something she could ridicule. Instead, the streets would announce her. As golden hour painted the city in warm amber light, Simone stepped into the private VIP garage beneath the venue. The Bugatti waited for her like a shadow forged from luxury and power. Its matte black surface absorbed the light, gleaming quietly, confidently. Her driver nodded with quiet respect. She slid into the handcrafted leather seat, the interior wrapping around her like a custom-fitted throne. With a soft, controlled thud, the door closed, sealing her inside the life she built with her own strength. The engine ignited with a low, thunderous growl, a sound that vibrated through the floor and into her chest. The matte black Bugatti La Voiture Noire eased forward, headlights slicing through the evening haze. The city unfolded around her like a glittering maze of memories and possibilities. The reunion was waiting. The past was waiting. And Simone was ready to rewrite everything. Traffic slowed instinctively as the Bugatti glided toward the luxury rooftop venue's private entrance. Valets straightened their jackets. Cameras from nearby pedestrians lifted without thinking. Upstairs, the reunion crowd gathered beneath warm string lights. Soft jazz floated from hidden speakers. People sipped champagne, fanned themselves with glossy programs, and whispered about who had aged well and who hadn't. Kennedy stood by the welcome table, adjusting her bracelet for the 10th time, her smile stretched too tight, almost painted on. Then a sound sliced through the conversation. A low, predatory engine growl, smooth, rhythmic, unmistakable. Someone turned toward the driveway. "Is that A Bugatti? Heads swiveled as the matte black La Voiture Noire glided through the rose-gold evening haze, its headlights cutting a clean line across the terrace. The car's presence alone shifted the air. Napkins fluttered from the subtle pressure wave as it rolled to a stop, silk dresses swaying in its wake. Conversations died mid-sentence. Phones rose almost involuntarily. The world's most expensive car had just arrived, and everyone knew exactly who stepped out of cars like this. The engine's low growl rippled across the terrace as the matte black Bugatti La Voiture Noire rolled to a stop, its presence alone worth more than every car in the parking area combined. The door opened with a soft mechanical sigh. Simone stepped out. Her emerald gown caught every stray beam of light, flowing around her like liquid luxury. A faint breeze brushed through her hair as the Bugatti's heat shimmer rose behind her, giving her an almost ethereal aura. Her posture spoke volumes, calm, grounded, unshakable. The kind of presence that didn't just enter a scene, it rearranged it. The crowd reacted in waves, a sharp intake of breath, a whispered, "Oh my God, that carried too far," a shuffle backward as people made space without realizing why. Simone walked with measured steps across the rooftop, heels clicking softly against polished stone. She nodded politely to the stunned staff. Her expression gave nothing away. Kennedy's champagne glass nearly slipped from her hand. "She rented it," she hissed to the person beside her. No one responded. A knot of former classmates pressed closer, phones already recording. Someone gasped when they noticed the signature EB logo embroidered subtly on Simone's clutch. "Wait," someone whispered. "Everybody couture, that's her line." The realization spread like spilled wine across white linen. Phones came out faster, screens glowed as searches loaded, articles appeared, Forbes features, Time magazine covers, headlines about the billion-dollar inclusive fashion revolution. "That's her," a guy muttered, eyes wide. "She's the founder." The words rippled outward. More phones, more gasps, more frantic scrolling. Even the DJ stopped the music mid-song. Kennedy's date leaned close. "You said she worked retail." Kennedy's throat tightened. "That's what I thought." His doubt showed in the space he suddenly put between them. Simone reached the welcome desk. The coordinator looked flustered, voice trembling. "Miss Hayes, we're honored you could join us." Simone smiled warmly. "Thank you for the invitation." She moved into the crowd. Eyes tracked her every movement. People straightened postures, smoothed dresses, suddenly aware of how they looked. "She looks incredible," someone whispered near the bar. Another voice, softer. "Maybe she always did. We just never really saw her." Simone paused near a group of old classmates. The scent of expensive perfume mixed with rooftop garden flowers. Lights cast a warm glow across faces suddenly eager to reconnect. They stumbled over compliments, praising her arrival, her company, her presence. Their enthusiasm felt hollow but harmless. She let it wash over her. Across the terrace, Kennedy tried to rally her old crew, but they were already drifting toward Simone like moths to flame. Kennedy's control shattered in real time. The more people scrolled their phones, the paler she became. A teacher from their graduating class approached with genuine surprise. "Simone, I can't believe it's really you." Simone's smile reached her eyes. "It's been quite a journey." The comment spread through clusters of people like a gentle wave. Everything had shifted, and everyone felt it. The evening pivoted when the event coordinator stepped to the microphone. Her voice wavered slightly. "Before we continue, I want to acknowledge something special. Tonight's venue, the catering, the entire event was made possible by an anonymous donor whose generosity allowed us to create this unforgettable reunion." A collective murmur rolled through the crowd. People exchanged confused glances, looking around as if the benefactor might reveal themselves. Eyes landed on Simone. The pieces connected without a single word spoken. Kennedy's face drained of color. "No," she breathed. "That's impossible." Her date touched her elbow. "Did you know she was this successful?" Kennedy didn't answer. Her silence said everything. Then someone near the dessert station opened their phone and froze. Their screen illuminated their shocked expression. Oh no, this can't be real. They turned the phone toward their group. The leaked group chat screenshots filled the display. Kennedy's bet about Lane Bryant, the airline seat joke, the cruel predictions about Simone's appearance. The images spread like wildfire, phone to phone, whisper to whisper. Within minutes, half the terrace had seen them. A thick, uncomfortable silence settled over the space, heavier than the humid air. People stepped away from Kennedy. Some offered quiet apologies to Simone. Others whispered in tight, embarrassed clusters. This is horrible. Why would she say those things? She hasn't changed at all. The social shift was tectonic. Simone stood quietly, observing every ripple. A woman she barely remembered from chemistry class approached with tears in her eyes. "I'm so sorry. We all should have been better." Her voice cracked. Simone nodded gently, offering grace she didn't owe but chose to give anyway. Kennedy's phone vibrated relentlessly. Her date turned his screen toward her, tone flat. "You're trending." The headline hit like a slap. Mean Girl Reunion Bet Exposed. Billionaire designer was the secret target. But worse, clips of Simone stepping out of the matte black Bugatti were everywhere. Played on loop, slowed down, reposted, remixed. Hashtags exploded across timelines, and the comments burned. Simone wasn't just back, she was reclaiming the narrative in the world's most expensive car. Kennedy's cheeks flushed, then paled. Her breathing quickened. Friends she'd known for years avoided eye contact. Even Tyler Morrison, now balding and soft around the middle, shook his head and walked away. She stumbled toward the restroom corridor, heels unsteady on the smooth floor. No one followed. Not one person. Simone felt the atmosphere shift. A soft breeze carried the scent of night-blooming jasmine across the terrace. Her phone buzzed constantly, but she silenced it. This moment wasn't about vindication. It was about truth speaking for itself. A coordinator approached Kennedy's date and whispered something urgent. His expression hardened. He found Kennedy near the bar, her mascara slightly smudged. "We need to talk." He slipped something into her hand. When she looked down, she saw his promise ring. "I can't be associated with this," he said quietly. "I'm sorry." Gasps rippled through nearby witnesses. Kennedy stood frozen, staring at the ring like it had burned her palm. Conversations shifted again. The crowd's attention turned toward the small stage where someone was adjusting the microphone. They wanted Simone to speak. They wanted clarity, redemption, some kind of closure to the tension crackling through the air. The collective expectation wrapped around her like a gentle pull. Simone took a slow breath and walked toward the platform. The lights warmed her face, made the emerald fabric shimmer. Every eye lifted toward her. The past hovered at the edges of the terrace, but for the first time in 15 years, it felt manageable, distant, almost powerless. The moment had arrived. Simone stepped onto the small platform, feeling the smooth surface beneath her heels. The terrace hushed. Even the city sounds seemed to fade. Warm evening light brushed across her shoulders, while the scent of jasmine hung in the air like a benediction. She let the silence breathe before speaking. "I used to believe my body was something to apologize for." Her voice carried clearly. No microphone needed. "I thought taking up space was a sin, that my size made me less worthy of love, of dignity, of a seat at the table." A few heads lowered. Someone sniffled quietly. "But life taught me something those hallways never could." She scanned the crowd, finding faces she once feared. "Your worth isn't measured by how small you can make yourself. It's built in how fully you embrace who you are." Her gaze moved past Kennedy without stopping. "I didn't build everybody couture for revenge. I built it for every person told they weren't enough, for every teenager hiding in bathroom stalls, for every adult who deserves to feel beautiful in their own skin." The applause started softly, then built until it filled the rooftop. Some people wiped their eyes, others nodded with understanding. A teacher pressed a hand to her chest, clearly moved. Simone stepped down as people approached with outstretched hands and tearful thank yous. She accepted brief hugs and whispered gratitude. She didn't need to stay long. The message had landed. The closure she needed lived in the steady calm inside her chest. When she walked back toward the Bugatti, several guests followed at a respectful distance. For once, phones lowered. The hypercar's engine pulsed with a soft, powerful hum as it awakened. The ambient glow from the courtyard lights glinted along its matte black curves, giving it a predatory silhouette. A gentle breeze lifted the hem of her gown, sending her hair into a slow, cinematic sway. She didn't rush. She didn't look back. Simone slid into the Bugatti like she'd been born to own moments like this, and with a quiet, commanding roar, the La Voiture Noire carried her into the night. As she settled into the Bugatti's leather interior, someone on the terrace whispered loud enough for others to hear, "She really made it! She actually made it!" The engine rumbled to life, low, smooth, powerful. As the matte black machine pulled away, city lights slid across its polished curves like molten gold. From a distance, Westbridge's grand rooftop terrace looked small, almost delicate. Just another glowing square swallowed by an endless city grid she now towered above. Simone watched it shrink until it became nothing but a distant shimmer. She leaned back in the leather seat, exhaling deeply. The past stayed on the ground where it belonged. Her future rose with her into the vast, star-scattered sky. If this story moved you, pass it on. Someone out there needs proof that their past can't define their future. And for more intriguing stories of justice and transformation, don't forget to subscribe. Your support means the world to us. Share these messages of hope with the world.